And then someone from Klagenfurt cold emails me 2 weeks later being, hey, we want to have you, when can you chat?
The US Fulbright Student Program in Austria has a number of different grant types to choose from, each of which offers students a unique way to engage with their disciplines and projects. To help you determine which grant type is the best for you, we sat down with the 2023-24 US Fulbright students to learn about each grant type from the recipients themselves.
In this interview, we discussed the Fulbright-Austrian Marshall Plan Foundation Awards for Research in Science and Technology with Michaela Polley, who received this grant to conduct her research project at the University of Klagenfurt.
I actually applied for the US Student Combined Grant and was later moved over to the Austrian Marshall Plan Foundation Award. I applied for the Combined Grant because I was really excited about it being this combination of English teaching while doing research. Coming straight out of bachelor's, it was an opportunity to get a variety of experiences and to be in the classroom working with students and really get that teaching experience while not setting aside the math and being able to continue to do the math research and stay involved in the math community, even if it was to a lesser extent. In March, I was asked whether I would be willing to be considered for the Fulbright-Austrian Marshall Plan Foundation Award. And I took some time to talk with my affiliate mentor in Austria, as well as my advisors at my undergrad institution, and decided that it was a great opportunity. It was a chance for me to really dive into the research full time. And even though initially I thought I was going to be setting aside that teaching portion, my host institution, the University of Klagenfurt, offered that I could be a tutor in their English language math courses. So I actually haven't had to set that aside. I've been able to tutor 3 to 4 hours a week, and as well as take master's classes. So this award has actually given me the opportunity to really make it into my own. And Fulbright Austria has been very supportive of this throughout the process. And it's really given me an opportunity to dive into math and do the research while also taking the classes, teaching, and making it a combined award while still focused in the math. My experience in the US is only at a bachelor's level. So there, most of my research was alongside coursework, and it was working with a professor, and it was very much on their research, their questions, and they were really guiding the work. Making the transition to Austria, I have been able to really be the driver of my own research and make decisions independently. And so instead of me going to my professor and saying, here's what I've done, where should I go next? Now it's me going to my affiliate mentor and saying, here's what I've done, and here's where I think I want to go next. And so I've really been moving the process along and have had a lot of independence in making the research what I want it to be, and also making the research my own and being the leader in my research. I approached my affiliate through Fulbright Connections. So I went on to the Fulbright US website and I looked at the Fulbright Scholar alumni list, and I just looked mathematics, Austria. I found the 4 or 5 people who had been either come from Austria or had gone to Austria in the last 5 years. I sent them all an email saying, I'm looking to do a Fulbright in Austria in mathematics. Do you know anyone who might be willing to host me? Do you have any connections? And one of the US Scholars alums sent me an email back saying, I don't have any current collaborations with Austrian mathematicians, but I do have some connections. Let me reach out and I'll get back to you. I ended up getting an email from the University of Klagenfurt, from someone there in the discrete mathematics working group saying, "Hi, Michaela, we heard that you're looking to do a Fulbright in mathematics in Austria. We'd love to have you. When do you want to talk about this?" I set up a meeting with the person who reached out to me and then a couple other people in the working group where I presented my research as well as Fulbright because they didn't know much about Fulbright Austria and how it works and what the award was like. And they each presented what their research is. And so there were 3 of them, and they each said, here's the kind of things I work on. There was one person whose research more closely aligned with my interests. He then sent me a follow-up email with a few of his papers and some work that he was working on, and it matched what I wanted to do. And so I then tailored my Fulbright application to fit in with his current work and his current projects. And it was off to the races from there. Now that I'm here and working with him, it's been absolutely amazing. He is really supportive, really helpful. We have a really, really close working relationship. And he has also been an immense support in helping me navigate Austrian bureaucracy and setting up things like my bank account and my health insurance and all of that. And he's just been a constant resource for everything on the ground, both bureaucracy within the university and also Austria more generally, and also just welcoming me to Klagenfurt. And everyone at the University of Klagenfurt has been really, really welcoming, and I've had a really good experience there. One challenge has just been the bureaucracy. One particular example, health insurance is complicated here. There were some issues with getting my health insurance figured out because there were some bureaucratic steps that took longer than expected. So in order to register for health insurance, you need to show that you are a student. In order to be a student, you need to be enrolled at a university. And the University of Vienna has a visiting student program. And so you're enrolled as a student without having to provide all the necessary documentation. The University of Klagenfurt doesn't actually have that, which means I'm enrolled as a full, normal, degree-seeking master's student. And that meant they needed more documentation that I was not prepared to need to send in, and they needed it earlier than I sent it. So there ended up being some delays because I didn't send my materials till mid-August. And then there were delays in that getting processed. And then that caused just things to take longer. It didn't end up being an issue, and Fulbright Austria was very supportive throughout the whole process, helping me navigate it. And my affiliate was also great at following up and making things work, and also knowing when not to follow up because there's some cultural differences. And so knowing, nope, we're not going to go talk to that person in person. We're just going to send a polite email. But that was definitely a challenge at the start of my grant. I don't really see them as separate. So my department at the University of Klagenfurt is very, very international. And it's also very close-knit. We're a very small group, and we get lunch together almost every day. We have dinner together once a month, and we have coffee time every afternoon. And a lot of my informal cultural ambassador stuff happens in these settings. So we're getting lunch, and the topic that day is politics, or someone has a question about this or that. And so it's the same people that I talk with about my research. And it's really been a way for me to connect on a deeper level with them. I think if I was only talking about math with them, it would feel a little bit surface level. But it's felt very natural to share my experiences from the US and to kind of be the person that they turn to. It has also sometimes taken on the role of someone was having an issue with a credit card that was based in the United States, and they needed to call the States. And I said, well, why don't you just call them? And they said, call the United States? Are you crazy? My American phone plan lets me call over Wi-Fi when I'm in Austria. So I just said, just use my phone. Like, that's not an issue. Another time, they were sending an email and it was in English and they wanted it to sound professional without being too awkward. And so they said, hey, Michaela, can you take a look at this? And I was able to give some pointers of, oh, that phrase isn't quite right, or I would say it a little bit softer like this. So I haven't really viewed them as separate, but also they've been a way for me to really connect with all of my colleagues on a deeper level. Austria is very formal. And when you're addressing emails, it is sehr geehrte Dame und Herren. It's a very formal culture. I come from Minnesota. We are not very formal. When I was working through some of my university paperwork, I sent a university administrator an email and I addressed them by their first name. And I did not find out until much later through my affiliate that this was considered very much not okay. It ended up, nothing bad came of it. They understood I was an American and did not understand, but that was definitely a moment when my affiliate said to me, you know, we don't do this, and it was not considered okay. But it was very much communicated to me in a kind and understanding way, and as a, let's teach you the way our culture works so that you don't make the mistake again. But yeah, that was definitely a memorable moment. Austria is very much central to Europe, and I have been able to take advantage of that to travel. And that was something I was not expecting before I got here. Even though I'm in Klagenfurt, which is about 4 hours south of Vienna, I am 4 hours away from Venice. I am 8 hours from Budapest, or it would have been shorter if I had taken a flight. I'm an hour and a half from Graz. I'm 4 hours from Linz. There's an overnight train to Amsterdam. There's an overnight train to Hamburg. There's an overnight train to Berlin. I've been able to travel all over on my weekends and really take advantage of my year in Europe. And there's been time, it's not all research 24/7. There's no expectation that you're in the lab all day. You get the weekends, you get time off. I've been able to take a Friday off so I can make it a long weekend trip. And I've been very supported by my affiliate and by Fulbright Austria to do that. And so it's really been great to take advantage of that opportunity. If you're on the fence about applying, just do it. This has been a really, really great experience, and I've had a really wonderful time. I would also say, don't be afraid to apply for an award that seems a little bit outside your comfort zone. The nominating committee might nominate you for a different award than the one you applied for, and that's okay, and don't be scared of it, but also be secure in the knowledge that if you apply for an award and maybe it's not quite the right fit for the application you put in, and you fit it better into another award category, the nominating committee will see that and they might switch you over. So just apply. Don't overthink it too much. And if you're on the fence, just do it.